So I'm going to show you today how traffic campaigns are actually really, really good if used in the correct way. And that there seems to be a general consensus, at least online, when you look at YouTube videos, that traffic campaigns are really, really bad and you should never use them because they just generate very low quality traffic to your website. And you'll get lots of clicks, but you won't get any conversions. And yeah, just never use them. And you should always use conversion campaigns. That's what a lot of people say. But it's because you need to understand the difference between campaign objectives in order to understand when to use a campaign type and how to effectively use it. It's not that traffic campaigns are bad. It's just the users that Meta go after when you use that objective are just very different to the users that Meta goes after if you use a conversion based objective. So to illustrate that, I have a let me just move myself. I just have a picture of this funnel, okay, and just a normal marketing funnel. And I'm going to show you, dependent on which objective you use, the type of people Meta will go after, right? So the reason why conversion campaigns seem to be, the best, and it seems like they're just better than traffic campaigns, at least when you use them versus traffic campaigns, is because conversion campaigns focus on people that are at the end of their buying journey. So it focuses on people here, okay? And Meta knows that. Meta will show you ads to everyone who is, interested in converting, that they're ready to convert, and Meta knows that. And as a result, they charge a premium, and that's why your CPMs are a lot more expensive when you use a conversion-based campaign compared to when you use a traffic-based campaign. So when you use a traffic campaign, Meta focuses on targeting users that are at the beginning of their buying journey, so at the awareness phase. So they've just started looking, they've just started researching, different products, different services, or sorry, different businesses to I guess inquire about the service that they're interested in. And yeah, they're at the beginning of their buying journey. So that's why you get a lot of clicks, but you don't get a lot of conversions because they're not ready to convert. They're at the start of their buying journey. And this is what you need to understand, right? It's not that one campaign is better than the other. It's just the reason why conversion campaigns appear to be better is because those people are just ready to convert today. So that's where you have to, you have to decide on, okay, well, if someone sees my ad at the beginning of their buying journey, the CPMs are going to be cheaper. Now, if I show that user my ad when they're at the beginning of their buying journey, it's going to be cheaper to reach them compared to them eventually seeing it. It's just they're seeing it at the end of their buying journey, which is why it's going to cost more. So effectively, your ad's going to reach them no matter what, right? Inevitably, you're going to reach them. So would you rather reach them at the beginning of their buying journey at a cheaper cost, but it's going to take them a longer time to convert, right? Because it may take them 2 months to eventually decide, okay, I'm ready to convert, and they're at the end of their buying journey. Or do you just want to go for the end result and just focus on people at the end of their buying journey and only run conversion campaigns? Those are the questions you're going to ask yourself, and that's where, well, that's what I'm going to get into. I'm going to show you the difference between focusing on traffic campaigns versus focusing on conversion campaigns, and how that can actually impact your marketing strategy. And yeah, so first of all, this is just the sheet that I kind of used to track this experiment. So it was, from the 1st to the 10th of this month, we ran conversion campaigns, and then on the 10th we decided to switch to a traffic objective. And I'll just quickly show you how I measured this, and then I'll go to the summary just to make it a little easier. But the metrics that I was looking at is, spend, reach, and you can see, as soon as we started running started running traffic campaigns, the reach just significantly increased, right? And the cost per reach as well, obviously significantly increased, because, as I said earlier, Meta charges you less because they're at the start of their buying journey. So yeah, they charge you less, and that's fine. And then, outbound clicks or unique outbound clicks, unique outbound click-through rate. I focus on unique because I just want to see the first time my ad actually drove that user's click. And then frequency is important as well, because I want to make sure that I'm only reaching new users. And then, yeah, as I said, I always also have a cost per click here as well. So on the Meta side, that's what I was tracking. And then I was also tracking from like a other channel perspective, organic search users, time on site, from looking at organic traffic, brand impressions, click-through rate from a brand campaign, paid search, Google Ads brand campaign perspective, and then MQLs from HubSpot across paid search, and MQLs on HubSpot across organic search. This one was the most important one. So just so you know, like if you ever want to do these are the metrics you want to be measuring. You want to be measuring, okay, well, if I am transitioning to a traffic objective, well, then I can't really focus on like looking at the direct conversions that the traffic campaign is going to drive, because it won't, because it's focusing on users at the beginning of their buying journey. So, it may take them 2 months, or it may take that campaign 2 months for that traffic to actually materialize, and then them eventually converting. And them converting is most likely going to come from organic search or paid search or other channels, which I'll show you what that looks like. But that's the mentality you need to have, I guess. So let me go to the summary now, and let me show you at least the key the key takeaways. So first of all, you can see, this is traffic spend. So of course we stopped spending in March on traffic campaigns and awareness campaigns, and we started only focusing on conversion-based campaigns. And you can see straight away, as I said, like reach it drops significantly, right? From 51,000 to 10,000. And then we started running traffic campaigns again in July on the 10th, and you can see how that reach significantly increased again. Okay, the next one is organic search MQLs, right? This is from HubSpot. So you can see back in February, we had like 26 MQLs from coming from organic search. And it's pretty, interesting how MQLs start to drop when spend on, traffic and awareness starts to drop as well. And then as soon as we started to increase traffic, you can see MQLs have started to increase as well. They're not at, February levels, but I'll get into why, that is, and the considerations we need to look at as well. So the next thing is, right, so that's the first thing, just looking at the relationship between reach, right, and organic MQLs. Okay, getting more exposure to the brand, will obviously materializes eventually, and you can see that there's never going to be like a sudden drop off. It's gradual, right? And you can see it. It's like 26, 24, and then April is when it did drop off quite a bit. But these people are still in the pipeline, right? Like 51,000 people were reached in February. And also before that, we're running traffic and awareness campaigns, right? So, someone who sees the ad in February, it takes them some time to then transition to the end of their buying journey, and they're ready to convert, right? So that's why it's not just a sudden drop off. It's kind of like 3 months, and then obviously as we start reaching less people, you see total organic search MQL start to kind of flatten out, right? So that's why it's not just a sudden drop. So this is where I think it's really interesting. So Google Search Console. Let me take you to Google Search Console and just show you on a graph. Okay, so this is what we have. Okay, so let me have a look at the last. Yeah, okay. So this is the last. Yes, this is this year. Okay, so let's look at impressions. Okay, so remember we stopped the traffic campaigns or awareness campaigns / traffic campaigns around or the end of February, beginning of March. So around here. Okay, this is when we start. This is when we stopped, more or less. Now you can see from an impressions perspective. Let me zoom out a bit more. From an impressions perspective, right? Like the impressions start to fall off, right? Like from kind of the levels that they were at around here, and then as we started to run traffic campaigns again at the last month, you can see now impressions are starting to increase and get back up to the levels that they were earlier on in the year. And if you look at a clicks perspective as well, it's the same trend, right? Look at clicks were all the way up here when we were running traffic campaigns, and then in March, right, they fall off, and then coming back into July when we started spending, clicks have increased again. And just to clarify, what Google Search Console is, for those who don't know, this is just measuring the amount of impressions that the actual brand term is getting. All right, so I'm only looking at the brand term, and I'm only looking at the amount of clicks that came from those brand terms. So this is brand, right? And that has a direct kind of relationship with obviously awareness campaign, traffic campaigns, because people see the ad and then they remember the brand, and then eventually they will search. Okay, and this is also the other thing I want to point your attention to is we started running traffic campaigns again on the 10th, right? So around, where is it? Around here, and it took like 2 weeks for that traffic to then turn into people actually searching up the brand again. All right, we did nothing else but transition to traffic campaigns. Like there's nothing else that changed. So it's an impact. It's a direct impact from running traffic campaigns again. Like that's what it is. And on that point around, like it took around 2 weeks for it to materialize. This is where you need to understand your numbers. All right, service-based businesses, which this is, there's going to be a greater lead time, or there's going to be greater attribution lag, if that's what you want to call it. Simply, I'm referring to so how long it takes the person to take an action after them being exposed to your brand for the first time. That's what I mean by attribution lag, conversion lag, lead time, or whatever, right? Lead time's more them actually then converting into a lead. But that's what I mean, right? And how to find that out, you can go to Google Analytics, right? And you can go to attribution paths, and under attribution paths, if you scroll down, you'll see here, you'll see days to key event, and you also see touch points to key event. So days to key event is what I'm more concerned of, and that is how many days it takes for someone to take a key event on the website after them being exposed to the brand, right? It takes them around 12 days, or around 3 to 4 touch points. So them actually seeing your ad, touch points, basically them interacting with your brand. So coming back to Google Search Console again, right? I it's the same data just on the sheet. You can see, right? Like, or actually, no, let me go to Google Search Console. It will show it a bit better, right? So yeah. So what I meant was we started ads again on the 10th of July, right? And it took like around let's go impressions actually. It took around so yeah, around here, right? That's when we started, around here. You know, it took around like a week to 2 weeks for that traffic, well, to see that uplift in impressions, right? Same as clicks. And that's the attribution lag or the conversion lag, right? That's factoring in the amount of time it takes someone to actually take an intro, or to actually take a key, action after they see your brand for the first time. It's not just instant, right? Like, it takes time. And then you have your remarketing ads as well, which we do. We're remarketing to that traffic, to that traffic coming from the traffic campaign. And then eventually it materializes them, and that can either be them searching up the brand, them clicking a remarketing ad. I'm only looking at them searching up the brand in this scenario, but also remarketing also benefits from it because it starts remarketing to that cheaper traffic. So your CPMs, well, not your CPMs, just the cost to generate clicks drops as well, right? Because the traffic from your prospecting campaign is cheaper, right? So your entire funnel, you start to generate cheaper traffic. And again, cheaper traffic doesn't mean poorer quality traffic. This is a big, I feel this is a massive, like, people get confused about that, right? Like, it's not, cheaper traffic isn't poorer quality traffic. In some scenarios it is, don't get me wrong. Like, if you're running TikTok, yeah, traffic quality does seem to be not as strong, right? But in this scenario, it's cheaper because they're just at a different stage in the buyer journey. That's why it's cheaper. It's not poorer quality in terms of like the actual user. It's just appears to be poorer quality because they don't convert due to them being at the start of their buying journey. But that user will eventually come down to the bottom of the funnel, and they're ready to convert because they're at the end of their buying journey. And that's where you can capitalize on them, right? Because they already know who you are, right? You've reached them at the awareness phase when they're researching, they're considering which brand to go with. You've reached them. They know who you are. And then if they're seeing traffic campaigns across kind of the middle of the funnel period and you're nurturing them, when it comes down to them ready to convert, they may just decide to come to you because you've convinced them. So you don't have to spend more money convincing someone on the first time through a conversion campaign, which is more expensive, to go with you, because remarketing to conversion traffic is going to be more expensive because generating a conversion click or impression is more expensive. That traffic is the most expensive traffic you can get on Meta. So it's like, do you be strategic and you just say, okay, don't get me wrong, I think you should definitely have a balance. Still run traffic campaigns and conversion campaigns. I mean, you don't want to neglect that traffic. It's still incredibly valuable. I'm not saying do not run conversion campaigns. But what I'm saying is a mixture and an actual well thought out marketing strategy can benefit you because it can result in just cheaper traffic and therefore a cheaper total cost per acquisition. So I'll leave it there because I feel like I'm starting to rant a bit. But yeah, I just wanted to clarify that traffic campaigns aren't bad. It's just they're misunderstood. People just don't get why traffic campaigns, or why the traffic from a traffic campaign doesn't convert. It's not because it's poor quality. It's just because they're at the start of their buying journey. Cool. I hope that helped, and I'll see you in the next video.